Really great to have a full lecture theatre. Sometimes a little bit uncommon in our late afternoon lectures.
And if we can just ask you to raise your hands if there's a seat next to you, just so that people can be seated. Just raise your hand nice and high. There's sit on the front row. Sit on the second row. And there's some seats back here. Okay, cool. All right, so colleagues, if we can just ask you to take your seats quite quickly so that Dr. Gretschel can carry on, Prof Gretschel can carry on. Thanks.
Okay, so it's so great that you've joined us. So if you haven't yet already, please open your browser and type in menti.com. And if you could input the code 15813139. And I know we're going to have a lot of eager people who've already answered the question, if you can proceed. What is one thing you do for yourself that you would never want to give up? So let's hear it. Let's see. Okay, some interesting answers. But let's have a look. Self-care, playing netball, baking, exercise, mobility, being happy, right? Music, smoking, thinking, dressing. Okay, so thank you for indulging me, but really this simple activity just serves to show that occupations are the ordinary and extraordinary things that we do every day. In this case, they may be the things that you want to do, but also importantly, there might be the things that you need to and are expected to do, or a combination of both, right? But I think what matters most is when we are prevented from being able to do the occupation that we need to or want to do, right? We unfortunately have a universal historic moment in time with COVID pandemic, where all of us experienced, to varying degrees, not being able to do what we needed to or wanted to do. And just to take a few seconds to reflect what that felt like, right? And how aspects of our meaning, our purpose, our role were stripped away from us. And this is the lived reality for many people across the world. And this is where the magic of occupational therapy comes in. Oh, you're ahead of me. Thank you. So in your journey to becoming an occupational therapy, you learn to work on factors which might stop your engagement in your occupations, whether it be because of a temporary or permanent health condition linked to physical health or mental health. That's where we step in. But we also don't stop there. We explore and seek to understand and address injustices and social inequalities, right, in communities and societies that might also be limiting your potential and your opportunity to engage in occupation. All right. And we do this because we have an inherent understanding that what we do as humans, our occupations, yes, it relies on us, right, our individual abilities, but it also depends on the support which we have within our context. All right, and so let that stick with you too, is that we have this ability to look with that concrete lens in what needs to happen with both you and the support around you to enable you to do what you need to and want to do. Okay, so how we equip you to do this within the program is we help you develop competence in addressing factors that impact on your health and well-being, through our focus on occupation. So within child learning, development and play, we look at what is stopping children from engaging in these important childhood occupations. We look at mental health and physical health, right? Chronic, permanent, acute conditions, and how do we support you in spite of these conditions to participate in a way that you wish to and you need to. We also work within work practice, where we look at how you can return to work after a disability or any condition that's impacted on your ability to engage in your occupational work. But we also focused on livelihood, right? And how we can create opportunities to engage in work and employment. And then also, fascinatingly, we work within community development practice, where we focus not only on providing care at a community level, but we also look at working and partnering with communities to understand what opportunities we can create for communities to advocate for better occupational engagement, variation in occupational engagement. So what possibilities could be created? Okay. So what this means is that our broad focus allows us to work after we've completed this degree and a year of community service in a wide range of sectors across private and public. So education, departments of labor, health, obviously, social development, but also looking at work and partnerships with NGOs and NPOs. So we are really a magic blend of science and heart with an intent to holistically focus on a human being and all the factors that might contribute to. Yeah. And over to Avuzwa. Thank you. Oh, sorry, the admission requirements. All right, so I'll just let you just peruse those, but just to highlight, English home or first additional language, 65%, mathematics, 60%, or maths literacy, 70%, physical science or life science, 65%, and 60% for the next three best subjects, excluding life orientation. An APS minimum of 340 and NBTs within the intermediate range. Okay, I encourage you to please come and visit us at the stand, ask further questions, but I know that Avuzwa is going to do a good job of unpacking his experience and giving you a little bit more insight into this wonderful profession.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all good. My name is Avuzwa Buqindlela, and I'm a fourth-year occupational therapy student. And I'll be walking you through my journey of doing, being, and becoming an occupational therapist. So excuse me if I occasionally look at my notes, because I want to touch upon certain points, and I'm also limited with time. So I'm going to be occasionally looking at my notes. So I am from the Eastern Cape, a small town called Mthatha, and I also did my matric here in 2020 during COVID, which had its challenges as we were all affected by COVID. But luckily, I was able to persevere and apply to university. Occupational therapy was not my first choice. In fact, I didn't even know what occupational therapy was. I have an older brother who's a medical doctor. He was my role model growing up, still my role model, but I'm having my own path. I wanted to be like him. So I knew that my degree was going to be in health sciences, but I was a bit skeptical about medicine because I know they did a lot with blood and bodily fluids. So I was a bit skeptical about that. I didn't want to do nursing because so I didn't know about all the other health sciences professions. I just knew about medicine and nursing. So during my matric year, I applied for medicine, and when I was supposed to have choose my second option, I saw occupational therapy, and it's in the name, guys, occupational therapy. Actually sounds nice. So I looked at it and I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I did a little bit of research into it and I actually liked it. And then I applied for it at UCT. And then when the results came out, I got in for occupational therapy and not for medicine. And then I came to Cape Town for the first time, and that had its own challenges, and it was still during COVID 2021. And it was so hard adjusting to Cape Town and the different environment, like interacting with people. And like, as I've said, most of our lectures were online. So yeah, that had its challenges, but luckily there's support within the division of occupational therapy. So I was able to persevere. So in our first year, we have like psychology, we have human biology, we have a course, a foundational course, which is an introduction into occupational therapy, and then we have becoming a professional. So it's basically like it's a course that is offered across the disciplines, health science different disciplines. So it's basically teaching us about being a professional, a health professional to be specific. So that was I was able to navigate through that. Second year, we started like going into like placement and doing assessments. So we're not doing intervention yet, but we're just learning how to assess as an occupational therapist. That had its own challenges, but it was fun. It was quite a good learning experience. And in third year, that's when we start going into placements, right? So in third year, we did physical health and mental health. So as Dr. Gretschel has explained, we have like a variety of domains within occupational therapy. But in our third year, we were exposed to physical health and mental health. So physical health is basically like, it has something to do with everything physical. So from your stroke, traumatic brain injury, anything, just anything that is limiting your amputations, anything that is limiting a person from engaging. So what we do as OTs, we're focused on function, like we're doctors of function. Okay, not doctors, but we everything that has to do with function, there's OT there. So we basically like we started like it ranges from like your basic, like if you think about like brushing your teeth, I'm sure like most of you don't think that um brushing your teeth is it's an important skill because it's so automatic as you do it every day. But actually, like some people when they lose function, they require help with doing like those basic activities of daily living. So brushing your teeth, a lot goes into brushing your teeth. Your postural, or you have to stand in front of your mirror, so your postural control. You have to take your toothbrush, apply toothpaste, there's range of motion, there's your grip strength. So like as an OT, we analyze those activities and we enable the person to perform those activities. So that's what we did in first year. And then there was mental health. We dealt with, I was case upon I dealt with like a diagnosis like a schizophrenia, where we treat through activities, right? So we do activities with the client, which like we treat like multiple performance components. But I'm not gonna delve into that too much. We have a stand, which is the transfer sense, which we will explain further. Um, yeah, so in our fourth year, I was in my fourth year, so we do the other domains of occupational therapy. So work practice and community development practice and child learning development and play. Other universities call it PEAS, right? So our role in these domains is a bit different from the others, but it's the same enabling function, right? So I'm currently placed, I'm doing my work practice block. I'm placed at an organization called U-Turn, where we basically help the homeless population, people who are struggling with substance abuse, and helping them into being like members of like the society. So basically what we're doing there, we are doing assessments and like also doing intervention, helping them, equipping them with skills that are necessary for the workplace, right? So I'm enjoying that a lot. And yeah, so one of like the domains of OT that I'm interested in is the domain within physical health and hands. So as an OT, luckily as an OT, you don't have to specialize in anything. We have this 5 domains. In the minute you qualify as an OT, you can practice in either one of them. It's unlike like medicine where you have to specialize in peds, specialize in this. And in medicine, there's a wide variety. In OT, there's a wide variety that you can choose for. You can practice either one of them. And so one aspect I'm interested in is being a hand therapist. So we deal with injuries of the hand. So people who have diabetes, sometimes they often have to have amputations, and they also need to function in their daily activities. So as an OT, we do splinting. You're gonna see in our stand, we have splints, with a lot of like assistive devices to help them in their functioning of their daily life. Yeah, and some of the challenges that I've encountered, occupational therapy in the past has been a female-dominated profession. There's a lot of females in our profession. Currently in my class, I think there's like 9 of us, and apparently it's the class that has the most male students. Like over the years, you can find 1 male student or 2, but currently, like we are currently like inviting a lot of like males to apply for occupational therapy. Yeah. Like within our university, we also have, as I've mentioned, that I'm coming from the Eastern Cape, and with COVID and all the contextual factors, I was struggling a lot with like academics, struggling academics, being independent from my parents and all those things. But luckily, the university has a collaborative approach. So our lecturers, they're not just our lecturers, it's not a lecturer-student relationship. It's like a more collaborative like relationship. So like there's augmented support where like they monitor like your performance in your studies, and when they see that you are dropping, they quickly call you before like you reach like you fail. And they call you, then they offer you support, additional lectures, which is quite nice. And that has helped me in being the person that I am standing in front of you today. So I don't know if any of you have any questions.
How does the normal day look like? Your lecture start at 9 and like 3, 5 days a week. How does your weekday start? And how long the lectures every day? How much is practical? How much is lectures?
Okay, currently I'm in 4th year. I'm in my block. So my day starts at 8. So I have to get up and go catch faculty transport, which is transporting us to our site. So currently I'm based in U10, which is in Durbanville. So it's a self-drive site. So my block partner is a car. So I catch a ride with her, and then we go to our site. We get there in the morning. So we work from 8 till 4. So like in my 4th year, I don't have, we had classes in our first term. So they were just teaching us theory and all of that, preparing us for block. But now that I'm in block, I work from 8 to 4 and then come back, and I don't have any lecturers. But like in the other years, when I was in first year, it started still 8 till 5. So it's basically attending lectures like all day. And then there's lunch from 1 to 2. And then it's basically traveling from, so there's GSH. Most of our lectures are in GSH or main building. So it's a lot of like traveling between like the main campus and GSH and attending lectures back and forth. We had our human biology lecturers here in Med campus, and then we had our OT foundational like lecturers at OMB. So it's traveling between 8 to 5 as in like the other years.
And that's 5 days a week.
Yeah, that's 5 days a week. But like in my 4th year, I have my Fridays off where I come and attend tutorials. So our tutorials, we basically so our class is split in 3. So others, while I'm in work practice, others are in CLDP, others are in community. So the work practice people, we get to and we share our experiences and just learn from one another. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Avuzwa and I and also our colleagues will be at the stand, so please pop across and feel free to ask us any questions. You also will find my details online, so you're welcome to reach out. But thank you for your time, and we're going to hand over to our colleagues. Thanks.